will recite the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pastor Paul.
Heavenly Father, we come together tonight as a community. We ask that you be with us. We ask for your wisdom and understanding as we move forward as a community. We ask that you be with your councilmen. We ask your blessings on them. We ask your blessings on all the city staff and everybody that serves our community. So we give you thanks for that, and we just seek your wisdom again tonight as we go forward, that we may be the community that you know we can be, and we can be an example to others of what a city and a community can look like in the rural area. We give you praise for it now, in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you all for coming. Alderman Ward 1, Jeff Watkins.
Here.
Alderman Ward 1, Jason Osborne.
Here.
Alderman Ward 2, Mark Rainey.
Here.
Alderman Ward 2, Adrian Saunders. Here. Alderman Ward 3, Jubin Moss. And Alderman Ward 3, Kent Shoemaker is absent this evening. We received 6 mini grants through MIRMA. Tamitha, if you'd like to give the details of those grants.
We requested $7,928.26 for a total of 5 grants or many applications. We received 75% funding of those, and of those, so we received $5,676.14. So in order to make true up in regards to the requests that we had from all the different departments, the 5 different departments, which were administrative office, electric department, street department, we would need to true up by $2,252.13. The grants were awarded. One was for a flammable storage cabinet. One was for an AED here at City Hall, so that we had for emergency purposes for our residents that come in. One was for work zone signage and barricades for the street department. Another one was for a security system to make us in compliant with our contract for the Department of Motor Vehicles with DNR. And another one was for our linemen to have crimpers and cutters for our utility crews for those.
Awesome. So all these mini grants are used for safety measures. So every little bit counts. Thank you. Liberty Utilities, I had sent out on the Monroe City Municipal News website, not website, the Facebook page. That's out there for you guys to access. I will try to keep it updated as best as I can with pertinent information on utilities and any kind of changes, things going on. I will let you know as soon as I know. I'll put it out there for you. But Liberty Utilities, I have put out there that they will not be coming. Now we have Rural Fire Association, Gary McElroy.
First off, I'd like to thank you for the $50,000 check, and second off, have you done any of the budget work for the fire district yet?
We have been
the city.
Yes, we have been looking at that with Jackie.
Okay.
There are so many holes in the final numbers for the previous year, and we
No, I mean their
Oh,
for their operating budget. Yeah.
for the rural fire board.
No, for the city fire.
We haven't got,
No budget
no,
yet?
no.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
Nope.
Oh, one last thing. Our board discussed, in the past, when the city used to collect the money and stuff for the rural association, we took that over last year, but there's still those people that come to City Hall.
Mm-hmm.
So we would request that anything that says Monroe City Fire Protection District, or anything that says Monroe City Fire Association, be given to Rich or Jackie
Yes.
or myself.
We will put it in the mailbox in there and let you guys handle that.
Thank you.
Mhm. And again, I appreciate your patience in us working through this. DTMC, Debbie Kendrick? Council, I gave you I don't have anything for DTMC, that's city hall.
Nope.
Yep,
I
sorry.
don't.
Okay,
You're about to.
okay.
So, thank you all for a moment tonight. DTMC is about to have its last street event for the year. And we're adjusting and trying to make things work. We are requesting for the closure of Winter Street from Main to Vine, as we've done in the past. We are requesting street closure from First Street from Main to the first western entrance of the city parking lot. This has been approved by MA Bank. We are requesting for use of the barriers for those street closures. For trash can liners, Mr. O'Brien, because we got trash cans, TMC's gonna use their painted ones. And we'll coordinate with Kevin on that. And Carrie Lee, you and I can go around and read some meters, or you can go around and read some meters.
Yes.
So we can come back to the council after the event to verify how much, if any, reimbursement we need to do to the city for any electric that we use.
Not to interrupt you, but
Go Brad.
Gary, what did the last event on the street, did you take readings on the?
Yes, I did. And
About how much electricity was used?
I don't have those numbers, Mark, not off the top of my head, man. I would have to go back through emails. and-
I mean, it wasn't an astronomical amount, was it?
It's nothing big.
Okay.
We have several vendors that bring
Generator.
generators,
Yeah.
and they're the big vendors that really take the juice. The rest of them might do a little space heater or have a crock pot. I mean, as far as that goes, but we'll check it.
Yeah.
And if we need to deal with that, we can deal with that after the next council
I
meeting.
thought the last one was really, really good. I normally don't go to them.
Well, we're glad you came.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So we would request a motion for approval for this request from DTMC.
Okay.
Motion made.
I have a motion for, the request from DTMC for the street closures, barriers for street closures, trash can liners, and, yes. I have a motion. Do I have a second? And a second, all those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
We thank you all very much, and Kevin will get with you, and then Carrie will follow up with you.
Thank you, Debbie.
Am I next again?
Yes, go right ahead.
Good, I'll just
Now we
stay.
have, Debbie Kendrick with her C Real Estate hat,
Changing hats.
and I gave you
Did
some
you get-
papers. Yes.
Okay.
I printed it for all the council.
So, there's no business or property owner or person in this town that doesn't want to help in some way the city with income. Being in the unique position of being in real estate, C Real Estate is formally requesting listing agreements from the city of Monroe City on certain properties. Properties that have been purchased at tax sale or gifted or are not being utilized as parks as we would normally assume they would be. Requesting 512 West Cleveland, 209 First Street, 641 Second Street, the west side of Mosswood Golf Course, excluding anything that is driving range, which will approximately be 30 acres. County Line Road and Lawn Street, which we commonly call Hill Park. And Westover and West Cleveland, the pie-shaped park known as Alpha Thompson Park. For the council, I have given you their tax ID numbers, their zoning, their current usage, or could be usage, their acreage amounts, the lot sizes, the values of each of them, the potential income from real estate tax that you don't get now on these properties because they're municipally owned. And the funding that they would be doing, like the first three would go back to the general fund, the second, or the Mosswood property could go into economic development and give us a budget for economic development, and the bottom two that were parks would go into the park board, I believe. What we're looking at is cutting mowing expenses, gas, labor, equipment, hopefully looking at new future utility income, plus real estate tax income.
We have talked about liquidating assets and getting rid of these, properties that are just costing us money and not doing anything for us. We have tried to go out the bid way, and I feel like this would be a good thing for C Real Estate to take on for us and do the legwork and get this taken care of. Is my opinion.
I don't agree with it.
Well, we need to set it for more discussion regardless.
Yep.
I mean,
Debbie, at one time, many moons ago, when I was on council back then,
Sorry.
we saved that ground east or west of the golf course in hopes that they would put another 9 out there, but that, you don't see that's gonna happen.
Been on that golf course board for a long time. Fortunately, I'm off now, but,
It ain't
not
there.
fortunately, I'm off now, but,
But it ain't there, no way.
no, and it was never we would have to re-engineer everything because the second 9 was set to go east.
Oh, it was?
It was set to go east, and that was our plan prior. But, no, it cost a lot to keep that golf course as it is.
No doubt, no doubt.
Can I ask a question? Instead of designating where the money would go, I mean, if being the city's so broke, I mean, shouldn't we designate it for operating expenses? I mean, for sure.
I don't know if you can.
Yeah, there's ways you have to, where you have to put your money as to how you got the money.
Well,
The
unless-
auditors.
well, we'd have to look,
Like these
I'm
parks will
just
have
telling
to go to the
everybody,
park
this is
board.
gonna take some research and discussion. I mean,
I don't want it to get shoved to the side. If we're gonna have research and discussion, I want a meeting set tonight.
What's
Huh?
the hurt?
Yeah,
Income.
it's a hurt, it's not yours.
Well, the
It's not yours.
income
It's
is.
the council's approval, it's not yours.
I understand that,
That's true.
Watkins. So, but why do we need to keep on kicking? Look
Why
how
do you
many,
wanna force to sell it for?
listen to me.
I don't have to listen to you.
We don't need to keep pushing off decision-making. We can set a meeting tonight and discuss it further. Look how many years it took to get Clarence County Wholesale Water Commission.
Look how many
True.
pieces of property that we sold, we never got money for it, that we sold.
Exactly. So this is a different avenue to
She's
go
on the
at it.
economic committee, and it's a conflict of interest.
Then I'll resign.
Is there any
You gotta
reason,
resign.
is there any reason why you're raising your voice to me? You need to back off or I'm gonna ask you to leave.
I'm used to this, I get this.
Now calm down. All I ask is that we don't kick this can down the street and we set a committee meeting and we start these
Those more bigger
discussions.
things that come, to sell this kind of property.
How do the
right
rest
now.
of you all feel?
well, I'm just throwing it out there, we need to do a budget first.
You need a budget.
I'm fine, I agree with selling some of these properties. We had an auction, people didn't bid on them. But we need to talk about, where the money's gonna go, we need a budget with a plan. We can't just start selling assets without a budget that was supposed to be done in October of where the money is gonna be spent.
But this is not an expenditure. This is a revenue we could generate.
Yeah, but where's it gonna go?
Who cares?
Well,
That's
It's
why
a
we're here.
revenue. It will go in one of these funds. Look what Debbie laid out for us.
These are suggestions of where it can go. The
and I'm
other
happy, no, happy to talk to Debbie and work on this, but we've got other priorities. I mean, I'm just saying we can't be, I mean, we need a plan where the money's gonna go, how we're gonna arrive on prices. It's not gonna happen overnight.
And
Debbie, I
that's
guess they'll
what I
talk to
tried
you
to
next
get to.
year.
Well,
That's only 2 months.
I'm gonna be a little bit more positive here, and I'm gonna ask y'all to take the time to read this over. I didn't do this lightly. The 3 residential properties were purchased with general funds from the city. So I assume when they sell, they have to go back in general funds, they were purchased at tax sale. Mosswood was a gift. I don't know what that means, but I'm thinking, boy, wouldn't it be nice to have an economic development budget? The parks are parks. So my common sense said, that money's gonna have to go into the park board. These are just my thoughts. This is not gospel. But knowing that we could generate some revenue for the city is all I'm asking you all to consider.
Does it need to go through the parks committee? Did we set the meeting?
So we voted to sell, I mean, everything, the residential lots and the 2 parks, and then the auctions, long story, but they didn't sell.
Didn't work.
So,
And we got,
I mean, we didn't, I mean, the council's already voted on those. But like I said, I mean, we need a discussion about how we're gonna arrive at a price. I mean, whether we're gonna get an appraisal, whether we wanna look at the auction numbers that were offered. I mean,
Y'all,
it's gonna take some planning by the city.
about 4 months ago, didn't y'all let bids for appraisal and nobody wanted to do it?
It was gonna be costly.
And I know that the state would love us to have appraisals. I can formally type up a broker's price opinion, but that will never be an appraisal.
How much income are you talking?
Well, approximately, the Cleveland Street property should net us somewhere between 5,000 and 7,000. The First Street property, it's a small lot. If we can get $2,000 out of it, we should be happy. 2,000 to 5,000 would be awesome. It may be too small to actually build anything on. Filing within our building code. It's the same way with the Second Street lot. So First and Second Street are lots that are of such small size, you could put a tiny house maybe.
Debbie, is the one on First Street, is that where Brittany Steen's house was?
No, her house is still standing.
Oh, her house is still standing.
The Mosswood property, if we could get someone in this economy to pay somewhere around $8,000 to $10,000 an acre, $8,000 to $9,500 an acre, that would be awesome. The problem with that property at the moment is zero infrastructure. But the city can demand and expect that anybody that buys it for residential housing or any other, well, it should only be for residential housing, cause we're landlocked now, we don't have any place. But if we do that, then we tell that developer up front, you are gonna match funds for any municipal grant that we get. The city's not gonna pay it.
At one time, we had a developer very interested in this property, and it could have been a done deal, but it was blown.
But that's passed, and we're trying to work today now bringing in income, so you take 30 acres times 8,000 and look, do that math. The Lawn Street property, the Hill Park, it's a big lot. It's about 140 by 245. That's a beautiful lot. It should bring us anywhere from 18 to 24,000. The residential lot over that is, or the park, Alpha Thompson Park over on Cleveland and Dover, that's a perfect spot for a duplex.
44 acres, if you had a wheeler or a sub on an auction agency would bring more money in if you did it that way than yourselves.
Actually,
Not for us.
traditionally, no, Jeff.
I think it would be.
I'll beg to differ at another time with you on that. The residential lots that could be a duplex lot or just a housing lot that was Dalfa Thompson Park, somewhere between $8,000 and $10,000. So bringing funds in is what we're looking at, what we're suggesting.
Bringing funds in and removing it from our expense list. We mow it, we pay to maintain those properties at our expense. And we're not collecting any tax revenue off of them when we own them ourselves.
And I gave you a column of potential tax income, just so that y'all have, at least know what you're talking about. So, just a guesstimate. But just like utilities, if you averaged out our utilities in this town, said across the board, the average is $350 a month, we get a good idea of what our utility income is. Well, that's what I did in potential tax income. Same thing.
Thank you for the work you put into this, Debbie.
That's,
I would love to set an appointment with you guys to have a meeting to discuss this. John, if it needs to be just you and I, that's fine. Okay, I'll, get a hold of you tomorrow and set that up. Is that okay, council?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you all very much.
thank you, Debbie.
Okay, next we have, awareness for Dane's holiday schedule. What is that about?
I just think,
Right, pick up.
yeah, just awareness.
Okay. Consent agenda, council, if you could look over the minutes from 10/19/23.
Motion to approve the meeting minutes from October 19, 2023.
I have a motion to approve the minutes from 10/19/23. Do I have a second? All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Next is the Monroe County Hazard Mitigation Resolution Draft Plan. Do I have a motion to approve this resolution?
Did you go to the meetings, Tim? Do you think it's a good one?
That was very thorough. It's pretty massive. Adrian, do you still have that mitigation plan? Oh, okay, okay. So you are looking at it. Yeah, it's pretty massive, very encompassing.
Who put that together?
Mark Heinrichman.
This was approved, this was looked over or suggested by Mark Twain Regional Council of Governments.
Yeah, they're the ones that posted it and coordinated it,
Okay.
all the counties, and the cities within the counties.
Okay.
They used to be done every 2 years.
Yeah. Then you have to document, and that's what they're doing.
We used to get the whole area together and do it, so.
Yeah, that's what we did over in Paris. It was a holiday website.
Motion to approve the resolution for adopting the Monroe County Multi-Jurisdictional Local Hazard Mitigation Plan.
I'll make a motion to approve the Monroe County Hazard Mitigation Plan.
I have a motion, do I have a second? Got a second, all those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
I write on this.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, delinquent account listing update, shows we have, we're down by $37,231.19 since September 30th. So we're chopping away at the delinquent utilities. Fewer mistakes this billing cycle than last, it keep getting fewer, so we're headed in the right direction.
The residents that were delinquent prior to our debacle, we know where they're at as far as catching up.
Several of them are caught up, but I only went off of the grand total, I didn't do individuals.
So we have,
Because you have to cross-reference, it's a very tedious process in regards to looking at that, because you have to go into one, that's why I wanna do a modeling, but you're talking a good day's work in regards to, you have to print out the report, you have to go into each individual account, you have to write out all of the addresses, then you have to put it into an Excel spreadsheet, and then you have to actually put it, so this amount, yes, it's very cumbersome, time consuming. I'm really hoping that there's another way, but that's the way Jackie said that they have always done it. So it's at least a day's work, if not two, to actually send out a mailing for the ones that were delinquent and figuring out who all it was. But I'm hoping to do that in November, to actually send for that, first listing.
well, actually, we had that list, and we printed a new one, and it shows when the last payment date was for some of these folks. And we have some that have been delinquent way months before July when the utility issues started.
Right.
5 months.
So I would like for the council to consider sending notices out to those individuals that have not paid since May, February, that they get shut-off notices. Cause these
Yeah.
are delinquent accounts before the utility issue started. And we need to start collecting on these people. Mhm.
Are we gonna see more? We just cut it off.
Yeah, you need to post them on, follow our rules and post it on the door. And then follow the rules we've got in place.
So we have to have some kind of, do you wanna say, those utility bills that were delinquent before July?
That's where we've been, pretty much like Jackie and Gary and all of us have been kind of going from that July mark, is where we've been.
July's kind of when a lot of the issues started.
Or do you wanna do
Just
this?
start there. Everything that was delinquent, virtually no delinquent before the July debacle. Put a note on the door.
So can I have that in the form of a motion?
Does it need to be in a motion if it's?
Well, it's already in our
It's important, I just wanted to
ordinances.
make sure that
Okay.
we had a cutoff. Are you okay with that?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, what you said.
And then the November, everybody's getting back to the normal procedures,
Yes,
right?
and
So,
everybody's aware of it. Are we
The
making
due date on the
people-
November bill was November 27th, so if it's not paid on that due date, then.
Penalties and shut-offs will begin.
Okay, so all delinquent, all bills, the utility bills that were delinquent prior to July will get shut-off notices.
We need to work it into their budgets.
right, we are down to, financials.
Something I added to your packet that I didn't give to you last night was a copy of the bank statement for the month of October. So you do have that in your. Okay. So you have a copy of the bank statement.
Can I add something real quick that I kind of, was a question in my mind? When the number 1.4 million was thrown out there as to what is in our account. It's actually, the bank does sweeps because they can't hold so much money in their account, so they sweep it to the bank in Hannibal. So that wasn't reflected to you guys, so actually, $2,664, $843.51 is the total current balance that this F&M bank statement reflects.
So you have our money.
So with the 1.5, and of course, this isn't, you've got to balance the account statement and show what is the bills that are going out, but ballpark figure, it's not as dire as what was projected to you in previous meetings.
So was Gary off, or we had more money come in?
Gary was not off, he just didn't tell you there's sweeps that are done, and that wasn't projected in that final number of the account. Do you have a copy of the statement?
You have a copy of the bank statement in yours, John.
Oh, is it in here?
Yep, it's right behind the resolution.
Debbie had given me some important information in regards to when she was in Jeff City, about a website, Missouri Department of Revenue, and there's actually a place where municipalities can log in and actually see what sales tax revenues come into the city. So I printed those for the council as well, because like I said, we're just trying to figure out what are our revenues that are generated every month? What are our expenditures that go out every month? We're trying to get that together. There's holes in our financial reports in G-Works because those numbers were not put in for several months. So we're researching and trying to figure it out on our own. So that is what this Missouri Department of Revenue report is. We have 3 sales tax, a 1% sales tax, a 0.5% sales tax, and then a city capital improvement 0.5% sales tax that is monthly revenue generated to the city.
Can anybody explain to me, when you're looking at those, what the holes are?
Yeah.
Like the ones that show 0?
That is interest.
Are you talking about down here,
Right.
November, December?
November, December of 2023.
Well, those haven't come in yet. It's 2023. Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, we go.
So to give you guys an idea of those revenues, so in 2023, for the month of October, that 1% sales tax generated $60,968.50.
Wow.
The 0.5% sales tax for the month of October generated $25,510.76. The 0.5 city capital improvement sales tax generated $25,510.75. So those are monthly revenues that come into the city every month. Yes, Brad?
Have we, got caught up on our tax penalties, have those all paid?
We thought, but then we received another letter from the Department of Revenue today, Tamitha.
4 o'clock is my favorite time of the day. Yes, I just got a letter from the IRS in regards to the fact that they would like to look at March 31st, 2021, June 30th, 2021, and September 30th, 2021. So they have begun to.
$1 million?
Huh?
Wasn't those around $1 million in penalties? If I remember correctly.
Yeah, this is compliance check in regards to the credit balance of 58, $59,954, or $59,244, or $35,666 for those 3 months in regards to quarters. So that is, now that we've started paying, we're gonna start getting compliance checks.
Yeah,
And
because they're
with
gonna
that-
dig and say, well, did they pay?
Yeah, and so now they're going prior to what we've submitted, they're going to 2021. So I've now gotta figure out
No, they.
if we have that I can find.
So 2021,
Yes.
March, June, and September?
Becky,
Okay, I'm not either show my ignorance or, I'm not sure.
do you want a candy cane first?
No, this is, it's been bugging me, and I know y'all are working really hard about it, but I don't know how we got here.
We don't either.
I mean, what I'm trying to figure out is, I know we didn't pay bills, but we still had income coming in. And I know how I do my bookkeeping at home. If you don't write the check and you don't pay the bill,
Then it's
the
still in the
income is
account.
still sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
So where did the money go that was supposed to go for these bills that didn't get paid? I mean, I don't understand how we got in the hole. If we didn't pay any money out, that money still should have been coming in and sitting there. Am I wrong?
No, I get your way of thinking, and you're absolutely right.
Cause I have a lot of people stopping me and they'll say, why don't you ask? Well, I was like,
Mhm.
why don't you come to meetings and you ask?
Mhm.
But then it got my head thinking, and I was like, if I'm not, I don't put them in a clerical column at home on Jim's books unless I pay the bill.
Mm-hmm.
So if the bill wasn't paid, the money's still sitting there in the account.
Right.
So I couldn't understand how we got here, and I thought maybe if you could just, if anybody knows how we got here.
We're still finding receipts and trying to put the puzzle together. On another positive note, so I know we've had discussions about this CPA that was working on the 2020 and 2021 audits for us, financial audits, Steve Conley, and we kept hearing, he just didn't show up, he just went missing, and, you know, got all these stories, and I'm like, a professional does not go missing, you know, there's something missing to this story. So in conversations with Joy McCliney, the gentleman that's working on our bond, he said, Melissa, I know Steve, would you object to me reaching out to him? And I said, certainly, and tell him to call me. So I had an enlightening conversation with Mr. Conley today on the phone, and he didn't go missing. He was, and I printed off the email threads that I had with Mr. Conley today. And he says that his firm was waiting for responses and never heard anything back. The city is challenged with having sufficient appropriate audit evidence for a full accrual audit at this time. So he never got what he needed to complete his job.
Well, shouldn't somebody be like, I mean, if I mess up on Jim's books, I'm held accountable for that, who's handling the funds? Okay, so who's in charge of that, and shouldn't they be held accountable for whatever, because it's costing us now? Do we even know who that is? I mean, I'm not trying to point fingers, I'm just trying to say, somebody has to be held accountable for getting us in this mess.
I understand,
And I'm
and
not trying to cause a problem.
I don't know that it's any one thing. I think it's a
Yeah.
combination of stuff, and I think it spans over several.
But somebody had to handle that.
The thing is what I can tell you from what I've learned since I've been up here, is there are times when you come in and you're trying to approve a budget or a bill, you don't have that dollar amount of what's in those accounts to say, yep, we have that money to do it. I think there's been several groups that have inadvertently paid or extended finances for certain things without doing the homework to see if we had it 100% where it needed to be. That's not gospel, but that's my personal opinion, and you don't always take in consideration some of the historical stuff. How many loans do we have out, or how long will this be coming in? It's not spelled out, it's not there, it's something we're working on and trying to put together going forward, but I think it's just been blind, because that's how several administrations have done it. It wasn't malicious, it wasn't, you know, I think it was a common practice, and it's finally caught up with us. That's
So-
my opinion.
So, Mr. Conley is, and you know, we are in dire need of a complete audit. And Joey's recommendation and Mr. McConley's professional recommendation is to do a cash basis, audit. So a cash basis entails that cash receipts and disbursements only. The statements will present the summary fund balance in each individual fund statement activity along with total cash that the city owns, all on a cash basis. It is significantly more cost effective for the city, it's acceptable, and it will, be able to be used to keep us in compliance with following through with, the bond and grants. We have grants tied up right now with the EDA project, the widening of County Line Road. If we don't get an audit and clear financials, we will not be able to do that project. Clarence Canyon Wholesale Water Commission is counting on financials. We do not get financials. They're quite nervous right now with that project. And what was the third project is the big park, North Park improvements. That's a $400,000, it's a $200,000 match grant.
We have to buy out of those, don't we? We still have to pay what we.
No, not at this, right now we don't. We're not invested in any of it except for Clarence Canyon Wholesale Water Commission. There's $130,000 and some odd cents that we will have to pay back for, engineering fees. So, the recommendation, the professional recommendation from Steve Conley and our bond, Joey McCliney, was to get this cash basis audit complete and move forward. So we can stay in compliance, we can see, he will be able to help us with getting the budget done and get our finances on track to see where we're at. That, compiled with hopefully 2 new employees that are very knowledgeable and will be able to do the job efficiently, we will get on track.
Did we get any other proposals from?
No, I sent out over 30 requests for bids, specs from auditors, and I got none. I am on the call at least an hour every morning, reaching out personally to auditors, and I have gotten nobody can take it. Steve Connolly is already familiar. He's already been in our books. He can come in here and do a cash basis audit and get us on track. I'm waiting for him to send me his proposal letter with his fees and everything lined out that I would like to bring to council for approval.
But didn't we already pay him a certain amount, so is that gonna be considered? Or
We
is
did,
that
that was for 20, that was for,
null and void because we didn't hold
Right.
our end?
it was for 2020 and 2021 business. And we're talking, I said, what kind of, can you just give me a ballpark figure of what this is gonna be? Cause, you know, you know what our financial, we don't know what our financial situation is, so I don't know what I can pay you. And he said, we're talking between $11,000 and $14,000 for a cash basis audit. Plus, we would have to pay, he will be coming, he's from Kansas City, so he will stay in Hannibal. He said that's what he did last time for about 3 or 4 days. And so we would pay about $2,500 in,
What's wrong with our hotel here in our city?
that's just what they did before, so that's what he threw out there to give me a figure as to maybe what that would cost for him for those services. So, yeah. So as soon as I get that, agreement from him, I will pass it on. Thoughts?
So why are you doing the administrator's job for? It's her job.
Do you know how many jobs there are currently to do down there with Phoebe and Tamitha alone?
It's not your position to do that.
This is my city and I was an elected
It's
official
not your-
and I will do whatever I can to help this city. Do you wanna come in here and do this, Hawkins? Excuse
No,
me.
you're overstepping your
Tamitha,
boundaries.
am I stepping on your toes?
Whoa,
I think
whoa.
we share.
There's a time for this, and I don't know that this is now. we have a void downstairs for short. If this personal exact conversation needs to be saved for a closed session and not for public. Please.
I've appreciated all the councilmen's help that they've come in. Jason has come in and run utilities for us. Adrian's come in and sat down and gone through, you know, questions on certain areas of what we're working on. The mayor's done a good job on helping us with some of the areas that I can't get to all of them because of everything that we touch has something that we have to fix. And Bodkins has come in, and Bodkins has also helped in regards to planning and zoning and taking those meetings for us. Jubin stepped up and has helped in areas, so all the council have helped in other ways. John's given his legal opinion. I think we're all trying the best we can because we have all walked into either or been elected to more than what we ever even thought, and that is very evident from what Gary and what Jackie have said. So it's bigger than just us, and it's gonna have to be time and patience and teamwork as a whole. It is what it is, and we're doing the best we can, and we've made progress.
Thank you, Tamika. So we'll move on. Change order number 18, Martin and Klinger with the wastewater, treatment plant improvements.
This was a change order that was supposed to have been, actually we got it right after our last council meeting on the 27th. It was like, either 4 o'clock is a good time for me or the next morning.
Is that when you run and hide?
Exactly. I'm like, we just missed it. So they thought that we were having a meeting on November 2nd, so that's why they sent it when they did. So unfortunately, this one's running a little bit behind on getting it to them. So, this change order.
George, can you enlighten us on what this change order entails possibly?
Can I see a copy of it,
So
please?
you want a copy, George? And you know, it's fine.
I know you'll give an explanation.
Give them. Okay, there you go. That way we can.
Okay, so.
Disregard how dirty they are.
No problem.
You got polka dots?
As long as nobody's got a camera there.
Just don't turn around.
Oh, you're out of the frame.
Okay. Just cleaner. Okay, so the one for the dirt / landscaping change, that is, for the berm that we ended up having to build, up further than what they had built earlier. So the cost difference on that was the $26,125.
So were we able to get dirt from some of those ones?
Yes.
Well, this is the difference.
That is a huge difference, because the dirt was gonna be $200 a load, and there were over 200 loads brought in.
Ooh.
So,
That's a lot
actually,
of dirt.
before the wastewater plant was built, OB and his crew went in and scraped all the topsoil off and hauled it over to the cemetery. And then, so actually we reused that dirt, and then out at Mosswood, we were scraping that off also to use to actually replenish what's at the cemetery, because we have to have dirt, you know, we have to have extra stockpile of dirt, so. I did not check to see, and OB, are you back there? Oh, there you are. Did they haul that from Mosswood over to the cemetery? What you had piled up, did that get hauled?
No, they did, we hauled, 6 loads, that's enough for us for stockpile and that.
Okay. Okay, so you're holding?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. Yeah, so by using, dirt that OB's crew, scraped off for us, we saved a lot of money on the burn. So, did that answer your question? Ma'am? Okay, what's the second part?
So why is it still $26,000?
Because they still had to haul it, they had, 2 or 3 trucks going, they had a excavator loading it. Whenever it got there, it had to be placed, it had to be seated, and so it's just.
The
it's-
Martin crew, not Arthur.
Yes, that's correct, yeah, Martin, 'cause this is all, yes, that's really what it is, because there was a lot of, skid steer work to get it shaped, and if you've been over there and looked at it since this happened, it was a pretty decent sized undertaking. I mean, I'm happy with the finished product, it does look good. It's unfortunate the time of year, because now they seeded it and stuff, I don't know if the grass is gonna grow or anything, but, we're waiting to hear when the trees are gonna be, put in. We're not sure if this is the best time to be planting them, but they're gonna put them in, and it's gonna be fairly soon.
So if they put them in and the timing's not good and they die, are they gonna replace them?
I'm sure they have some sort of warranty, but probably not much. Okay.
Lowe's has a 1-year guarantee with or without.
Yeah, I'm not sure, these are decent, I mean, these are 10-foot trees.
Yeah, you're not gonna get
I
10
will,
foot out
I
of
will
those.
ask that question.
Just saying.
Saving money.
It's gonna snow.
Okay, if there are no other questions on this change order, I need a motion to approve the change order number 18.
I thankfully approve the change order number 18 to Cleaner and Associates.
Okay, I have a motion to approve the change order, do I have a second? Motion and a second, all those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, George.
Next one, George.
Next, Hot Service Partnership, George?
Okay, this was in place before People Service ever started here. What this is this is for the hot company who, who supplies all of our analytical, units. We have, 5 turbidity meters. We have our spectrometer, we have our turbidity meter, which are all units that are required to be calibrated and certified. So that's what this service agreement essentially is. And you guys, like I said, have had this for as far back as I've been able to find. And every plant I've been at has HOC come in and do this same work. It keeps us in compliance.
Is this something that down the road that we can do our own? We can record the readings and stuff?
We don't have the equipment, and honestly, the water plant's gonna be closed down in 1.5 years. So this will no longer be necessary after the water plant is closed.
Okay, so do I have a motion to, continue with Hot Service Partnership?
And the reason this isn't in for the budget is because we passed, the old has fallen off, so we're right now needing to have them come in. Right now, we can't wait to have them come in and do the next service.
How long does this last?
A year.
So January 25 it will expire again,
Yes.
and then will we be able to do a 6-month contract with them? Roughly, depending on the budget?
We'll see where the whole project is, but yes, we should be able to tailor this to meet our needs. But yeah, let's see how far along, the project actually is at that point, so. Cause, that project hasn't even been put out for bid yet, and the amount of pipe that needs to be laid is, they're very optimistic on getting it done that fast, but I'm not 100% sure it will. We might be 2.5, maybe even 3 years out.
So is the total $8,704
Yes,
a year?
a year, annually, yes.
This is necessary, it sounds like, to stay in compliance.
Yes.
We've had them for years. Our people service says that other municipalities also use them and feels comfortable with them.
Make a motion to approve the $8,704 for Hawk.
Have a motion to approve Hawk Service Partnership. And a second, all those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, George. I think you're next as well. You're the,
I am.
wastewater.
Okay, I sent Tamitha an email and she sent it out to all the alderpersons, for, the DO probes that, we need at the wastewater treatment facility. We ordered today through HOC, we ordered the very first one, which is the BOD probe, so that we can run, BOD testing. And we ordered the rugged, probe, which is actually what we use out inside of the facility itself to check the dissolved oxygen inside of the wastewater plant. These are not an interchangeable type probe. Each one is special to what it actually does. So, this is more of a thank you. Everybody responded the way I understand it, and I just am letting you know what was ordered. And if you have any questions, please, I'm here to answer.
All right.
I think I have this is not where my report is, right? My report's later?
Uh-huh.
Well, we'll do it then. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Continuing on, MOPEP Power Infrastructure Modernization Grant. When I reached out to MPUA a couple weeks ago to speak with Connie Ford and find out if there are any resources that MPUA had to assist us in all of our current issues within Monroe City. She had given me a lot of avenues to research and a lot of phone calls I made, and I was made aware of this grant. So we applied and we received it. It was $54,997.50. It was to be used for power infrastructure modernization. So at first we were like, hey, we just had to pay almost $400,000 for a rebuilt transformer. So great, that little bit can go to help offset that cost. When they submitted the grant, they discovered that our gas commission check had not been paid in August or September. August. That is about $60,000 roughly, fluctuates according to the rates every month that we pay the gas commissioner. So Conda Bentley, who is the grant facilitator for this grant, she was like, Melissa, what we can do is apply it towards your unpaid balance. So it lets you pay what we owe the gas commission. So it's $54,000, so got that paid. The next thing is Missouri Rural Water Association MPUC rebate series. Tamitha, I'll let you talk about this. I don't know all the details to that one except for the amount.
The amount is $19,236.21.
It says
$18,236.
Okay.
$18.21. Sorry about that. There'll be a press release that has gone out from the Missouri Public Utilities Commission awarding us that particular amount. They were awarding different cities across the regional area. We actually had one of the higher awards of that grant, but that is to go towards wastewater improvement projects. And so with that, it helps with our, keeping our wastewater system in compliance and continuing, to provide safe and healthy wastewater to our residents. So we were really excited to be able to get that award from 2022.
Awesome, thank you. Next I have on here in the mayor's report, a certificate of appreciation.
I think just awareness. It's just to let people know. From Mark Twain, it's in here.
Certificate of appreciation from Mark Twain Regional Council of Governments, the city received. I don't have anything else in my report. I've kind of filled in with different things as we've been through the agenda. Yes, I did. I told them about the Facebook page that's out there, Monroe City Municipal News. So you can, everybody's welcome to access that, and I'll try to keep that updated with pertinent information on utilities and whatever else involved in the city that you guys need to be made aware of. City Administrator's report?
I gave you a copy of my report in regards to, what I've been working on. We're happy to say that we have, Joyce Valoria has come back to help us part-time in DMV to be able to get us back in compliance with, several of the areas that, were behind and lacking, after Lisa left. So we have that. We are fully transitioned in regards to our payroll, and so that is up and running, doing a really good job. I've been able to get into G-Works, into accounts payable and the general ledger, and begin to start working on, getting into actually getting the books internally up to date with the deposits and learning how to do all of that, because I haven't been working in that area, so I'm really excited about that. And I have a couple of HR issues. The library has hired their director, so have been transitioning and doing the HR for the new director, which is Rebecca Jennings, and she starts on Monday, getting all that up and running. And then the gas department, finalizing and getting all 3 of their employees up in compliance with what they need in regards to their W-2s and getting them online as well for their HR. A couple of follow-up things from the last council meeting that you all asked about. You asked about a state audit, from a financial audit from the state of Missouri. Did call and speak with Mary Johnson. State of Missouri will not do a financial audit on our city unless we identify that there has been some kind of financial fraud. But in discussion with her, I didn't feel that there was actually financial fraud. And so she said there's only 2 other ways that you can invoke a proposed audit invite to the secretary or to the state auditor, and that is 1, to do a resolution to invite the state auditor to come in, or 2, to do a petition by the city citizens, and that would have to be 15% of your voters, which approximately, based on her and I doing the calculations, she was on the back end, said about 300. You'd have to have a petition of 300 of your residents. And she said those audits will start at a minimum of $25,000. She said, and it's based on your population. And she said it's $25,000, and then you have to incur all of the other expenditures that go with it in regards to travel, labor, and all of that for the state. So those financial audits can get fairly hefty.
But that's not a financial audit, cause that's what we had.
No, we had a performance audit.
Yeah, and that's what they're talking about.
No, she told me on the phone we did a performance audit. We've never had a financial audit done.
You've never had a financial audit?
Yes.
No, that's what I'm saying, but the petition would be for a performance audit.
No, you can still do a petition for a financial audit. You can do both. But the council can also do a resolution of invite to the state auditor if they so choose. But that is at the choosing